What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, your hosts, myself, Alex Fishbein, we got Dennis Clausen, we got Mike Bash. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
And I just want to say a happy belated birthday to one of the Atlantic Files' biggest fan, your future bride, Deanna. So happy belated birthday. Love Big Sexy.
Yes. She told me you wrote on her wall and said happy birthday from Big Sexy.
I did.
She really appreciated that.
I mean, I didn't get a like or anything, but that's okay.
Oh, I thought she liked it. All right, I'll have to let her know. She's got that happy birthday and everything and couldn't even like it.
Probably was like, who's this creep posting on my wall?
I told her your cameo idea and she was like, oh my God, that would be amazing.
I was thinking about it and then I just kept forgetting about it. Not that I forgot about her.
Idea?
What?
Just that he was going to record a cameo and send it as a happy birthday.
You could send it for the wedding.
You could.
Well, we won't need to because we're doing a podcast from the wedding.
Exactly.
Should we just walk up with our mics and be like,
we're going to find a way to do it at the wedding, whether she knows about it or not. So,
No, I think she'll be cool with it.
I'll videotape Dennis and I'll be like, Dennis, all right, live interview with the groom. And Dennis will start getting all sweaty and nervous because that's what he does when he gets put with a camera in his face.
Well, for one, those lights were hot, asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those were hot. I was walking around Barclays Center fucking for 30 minutes because there's so many people there. And then I got Richard Jefferson sticking a microphone in my face with these hot-ass lights around me. I'd be sweating, too.
Did I tell you guys who I played 2K with the other day?
You said Sean Kilpatrick?
Yeah. I added him on my friends list, but locked his ass up.
So we need one more NBA player that we played 2K with so we can make it a trifecta.
Who did you put?
I played 2K like 14 with Maurice Spates.
How'd you do that?
On Twitter, he was like, who wants to challenge me? I'm the king of 2K. And I just tweeted him back like, I'll play you. And he was just like, all right, what's your gamer tag? It was just...
Huge Wang, 6'9".
Actually, my gamer tag is the Fishy Jew. Thank you very much.
Is it?
Yeah.
See, if I said that joke, I would get blacklisted.
I mean, I wouldn't care if you made that joke, but...
Yeah, not you, but we got, other ones.
I wouldn't get offended. Are you kidding me?
We got full
seriously
Jews over here.
Seriously, though, if we went up to Deanna and to you during the wedding and started discussing Atlantic Files material, she might not... I mean, what's her mom's name? Like, Maria?
Colleen.
What about her dad? It has to be like Vinny or Luigi or something.
John.
Alex,
what the fuck kind of name is that for?
Alex, you gotta run.
There's a lot of Johns that are Italian.
Alex, you gotta run.
I was expecting like Nicoletta and fucking Ernest Vincenzo something.
It's like, yo, Johnny, get over here.
First name is Enzo, so there you go. That fits what you're looking for.
There you go.
All right, I'm out of Italian stereotype jokes.
Okay.
So, I'm going to give you guys a choice. Would you rather start with the Ben Simmons...
Dominic?
No,
we get a Dominic? Is there any Dominics around?
So, her dad's brothers are... One of them's name is Mario.
Okay, all right.
So you can work with that.
Oh, for sure.
But I'll give you a choice. We can either start with the Ben Simmons on JJ Redick's podcast, or NBA Media Day?
You pick.
There's a lot with both.
I know.
All right, let's just start off with Ben Simmons
podcast. I apologize. So
I had a feeling one of you wouldn't.
And then who did you think? Who did you think wouldn't do it?
I was leaning 70-30, Mike.
Oh, fuck that! It's more like 95-5, Mike.
Well, the only reason it was 70-30 was because I was like, maybe Dennis has, maybe Dave has a lot of stuff going on. He has family shit,
I'm an active dad.
Exactly.
Yeah,
maybe you were rolling around at jiu-jitsu.
He rolls around and lays with his daughter in bed, kind of dad.
I mean, that's more than other people's dads can say.
I know, at least I'm around.
True.
I can't wait until the day when some chick lets you impregnate her, which I don't see that happening because I wouldn't let anyone. If I were a woman, I wouldn't let you touch me. But you'll see some of the stupid shit you'll be saying as a dad. Okay.
So, Ben Simmons podcast.
Fucking start with me.
Well, he was on JJ Redick's podcast, and they had a lot of stuff to say. JJ Redick gave him all sorts of questions talking about everything ranging from him shooting threes to passing up the dunk against Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs to what happened when he got thrown out of practice, his mental health, what he's going to do with Brooklyn now, etc., etc. So, I prepared a couple clips, and then we'll talk about some other quotes too, but we'll play this one on the shooting narrative. So let me play this for you real quick.
I think for a while it's so repetitive. You're hearing it all the time from everyone. You're like, fucking hell, like, just get off my case. Like, I do other stuff too. Like, I'm guarding the best players. And that's one thing I don't think people respect that enough, like what I'm bringing to the court, because there's a lot of shit I'm bringing to the court. And for me, I just want to win. So people also don't understand my goal is to purely win. I don't go out there. I'm not trying to have this many points, whatever it is. My goal is to win. So I'm trying to do whatever I can during the game and make the right plays and the right reads to help my team win. But that is for sure frustrating. But it's also one of my weaknesses. So it's like, when we get mad at people for saying I'm not good at something, like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm practicing, get better. It is what it is.
So, there was a lot there.
A lot to unpack.
Yes. And I just want to say, people did not discredit his defense for the longest time. You can actually even see in our YouTube archives, I fought for him being Defensive Player of the Year. And a lot of Sixers faithful fought for him being Defensive Player of the Year. And his defensive skills were well noted because a lot of people talked about how him and Matisse were two of the best perimeter defenders in the entire league. And then I just want to say, when he talked about, oh yeah, that's one of my weaknesses, what am I going to say? Like, shut up, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, I'm just going to work on it and get better. But he didn't get better at shooting. So, like, you saying, whatever, it is what it is, I'm going to get better at it. Like, okay, it's been 5 years. You haven't gotten better yet. So, you saying that pretty much kind of discredits you right away. But I'll let you guys go before I have a rebuttal for anything. So, Dennis, I think I have a feeling you want to go first with this one.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, you could say all you want, how you were advocating for him to be Defensive Player of the Year, blah, 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 but I still have a feeling that, I mean, for one, he's 110% right in that clip with what he was saying about how much he contributes. But as I was saying all along, that people just kind of look at shooting as a way to gauge how good a player is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's averaged 15 points in his career. Is he the most efficient scorer ever? No, not at all. Is he going to be the best scorer ever? Absolutely not. With that said, he adds so much that because he wasn't shooting from three and because he wasn't scoring, that people in Philadelphia completely bypassed every single other thing that he did really, 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 really well because he wasn't as aggressive as they wanted him to be on the offensive end. But like I said, I 110% agree with everything he's been saying. I agree with that because he does add so much. His defensive rating is always fantastic. He adds a lot on the defensive end. He's a fantastic passer. He could play any position you want him to play. The guy could do a lot of great things. And it's just a shame that his legacy is going to be tarnished by the fact that he didn't put up a shot, during the postseason, and the fact that he didn't shoot 3-pointers.
Mike,
yeah,
what do you think?
I see where Ben Simmons is coming from, and I also agree with him because, not to say that this is a comparable, but I kind of play like Ben Simmons when I play 2K, right? We play career, you play park, you play rec. I'm not looking to shoot and score 25 points. That doesn't mean I can't drop 25 points. But I'm more happy if I have 10 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Because I know, all right, I wasn't the leading scorer. I wasn't the go-to guy, but I helped my team win by playing defense, by rebounding, by, passing the ball. So, yeah, would you like him to at least be able to attempt 3-pointers and even shoot 32% from 3? Yeah, I'd take that from if he gives you everything else he gives you. The problem is he is so scared to shoot and so gun-shy to shoot that it just overshadows his whole game. But take shooting out of it, like Giannis for how many years couldn't shoot a 3 really. He would still shoot them, not a high percentage, but if Ben Simmons can give you 75% of Giannis, that's what he's worth it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Why would you want him shooting from 3 when he's not comfortable doing it?
No, it's not that you want him shooting from 3, consistently, but you want the threat of him being able to shoot it. Because if he's not going to pull a 3-pointer when he's open, guys aren't going to run out there. It's going to clog the paint. It's going to make things harder. It's not going to help with spacing. If he is just, like I said, he doesn't have to shoot 40%, but if he shoots 30%, 25%, at least there's a threat that, you know what, he can make it. A guy has to go, maybe he doesn't have to hard contest the shot, but he has to at least get out there. Otherwise, he's going to be pulled from the game for not playing defense.
Yeah, but it's not.
It opens everything else up. If you don't have the threat, they can play Rondo defense, and it'll screw everything up.
Yeah, but isn't it enough though that he can pass really well, and there's a threat that he can make a great pass?
Yeah, but you know what's hard to do? It's how hard it is to pass when there's no spacing. Because
exactly, that's the biggest thing.
Because the defense can play the pass knowing he's not going to shoot.
But why is everybody pushing the issue and judging him based upon the fact that he doesn't shoot threes when he adds so much other things?
Working?
What'd you say?
Are your earphones working, Dennis?
Yeah, but I mean,
you're not hearing anything I'm saying.
No, but you're not making sense as usual.
No, I'm making perfect sense.
But here's the thing. What was I saying the other day? The best team that I liked Ben Simmons on was when he was with Bellinelli, Ilyasova, James Johnson, all these guys who could shoot, right? And you didn't really have that his last season in Philly.
How did it work in the playoffs?
That was a pretty damn good team. So,
I mean, it was a good team, but that team still was beaten pretty easily in the playoffs by Boston.
Yeah, but now look at what we have going on. All right, now he's in Brooklyn. All right, Brooklyn's biggest issue was turnovers, and they obviously, besides guys not playing, but turnovers was a huge issue. All right, so if you surround Ben Simmons and get him to play defense, which was another problem, if you get Ben Simmons to get after it on a defensive end and make some good passes to good shooters like Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Patty Mills, a healthy Joe Harris, this is going to be a nightmare for people. And I think people, once they see Ben Simmons on the floor this year, he sounds incredible. He sounds like he's in such a good mindset. And I am rooting for him 120% because I think this guy could be a top 10 player in the league. I think he is so underappreciated for what he does. And I can't wait till he actually gets around like really good scorers like Durant and Kyrie. It's going to be a nightmare. Mark my words.
So, I think he can also be a top 10 player in the league. But let's be real, though. The one thing we said about Giannis, he needs to shoot more threes. He needs to shoot more mid-range. He needs to have more post moves and moves around the basket to be more effective so that they don't clog the lane against him.
But is he still considered a top player in the league?
He is, but he also got better at those. We talk about that he needs to like be elite at it, but the reality of the fact is he did get better. His 3-point percentage was like 20% his rookie year. He's up to like 35.
Is Giannis as good defensively as Ben Simmons is?
Yes.
He won a Defensive Player of the Year.
But I want to. If you take out just the nitty gritty of it, would you say that Giannis has like made super strides on anything?
Yeah.
Like
hell yeah.
Look at what he did from 3-point. No way. I mean, he's improved with his shooting, but nobody says anything about his shooting.
But that's a lot of people still do comment about his shooting.
No, we saw what happened. We saw what happened. Anytime you bring up, they use the same argument in favor of Giannis that they don't use for Ben Simmons. Whenever you bring up,
do you know what Giannis shot from 3-pointer this last few seasons? 30%.
Like about 30%. Yeah,
that's not good.
All I'm asking for.
No, that's not good. That's not efficient in today's NBA. Unless you're shooting around 40%, that's not good.
It's not efficient. I'm not asking Ben Simmons to be a 40% 3-point shooter. The thing that I'm asking Ben Simmons to do more of is exactly what he did at LSU, in Summer League, all of that. The turnaround, fadeaway, mid-range shots. The willingness to shoot a shot outside of the paint, because that makes the defense play more honest on you. Like, the whole reason Boston would just destroy the Sixers every time Ben Simmons was on the team, because this is what the defense would look like. Ben Simmons is here catching the ball at the 3-point line. Al Horford and whoever else was covering him would just stay in the paint because they had no reason to cover him any farther out than that. And as Mike was talking about, that makes it harder to find open players. You can't hit guys cutting to the basket all the time because the whole defense is in the paint.
Well, like he said, he's 6'10". He can make any damn pass he wants to. Here's my argument, and then I'm going to stop, because the minute I came down on Giannis about his inefficiency with 3-point shooting and his inefficiency from the free throw line, everybody came down on my ass because I wasn't taking into account all the other great things that Giannis did. How come that same argument isn't being used for Ben Simmons? How can people get away with saying, because he can't shoot a 3, we're just going to forget every single other fucking good thing that he does? We're going to forget about his defense. We're going to forget about his passing. We're going to forget about his versatility. We're going to forget about all that. That's bullshit.
I'll give you the main reason. It's because Giannis scored almost 30 points a game last season, and the last season that Ben played, he had 14. That's good. That's going to be the main difference, that why people say that. That's literally all it comes down to. Because, I mean, even if you look like, so last season, Giannis put up 29.9 points, 11.6 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1.1 steals, and 1.4 blocks a game. That last season of Ben Simmons in 2020, 2021, he had 14 points, 7.2 rebounds, 6.9 assists, 1.6 steals, and 0.6 blocks. So Giannis almost matched his steal output, almost matched his assist output, had way more points, way more rebounds, and more blocks. So, like, that's the big difference.
Correct. And I acknowledge the fact that Giannis is a fantastic player. He's a top 2, top 3 player in the league.
Right.
I know this. All right. I am completely aware of this.
Right.
Like I said, though, his 3-point shooting is completely. As much as you want to rave about 30%, I'm not impressed with 30%. Not in today's NBA, I'm not.
Oh, I agree. I'm not impressed by that at all. I'm just saying that adding any sort of shooting to your repertoire is going to help. Even if it's 30%. I mean, Rondo isn't a good 3-point shooter either, but the fact he can hit a couple and the fact he got a little bit better as he got older, it opened up the court more for him, and his assists went up even more.
You know, if I was Tony Reale right now, we were playing Pardon the Interruption, or not Pardon the Interruption, Around the Horn, Alex would be getting like 17 points right now.
Of course he would.
Be put on mute.
So is a suckfest with him. You're trying to be his pal or something. But here's the thing. All right, I'm not gonna. You guys are never gonna agree with me on Ben Simmons. Okay, how many shots is it gonna take from beyond 3 per game for everybody to be happy?
Shit,
2?
just one.
1? Okay.
3. I would say 2 to 3.
I mean, because I got into this rabbit hole because I saw Steve Nash say he doesn't care how many jump shots Ben Simmons take at all. And I'm like, okay, I've heard that from 2 Sixers coaches now. I heard it from Brett Brown when he started coaching Ben, and I heard it from Doc Rivers in the beginning when he started coaching Ben too. And then I started looking up, and then I started, exactly. When I started looking up interviews from like Brett Brown and Doc Rivers, Brett Brown had 5 or 6 post-game press conferences where he specifically said, look, you can tell anyone he's related to, you can tell him to his face that I said this, you can tell whoever. I just want Ben to shoot 1-3 a game. He's like, I don't care if it goes in, I don't care if he misses, I just want him to shoot 1-3 a game and just build upon the confidence and build upon the attempts every game.
Yeah, but that's his fault. If you're the coach and your guy's not listening to you, make him listen to you.
But that's the thing. Then they brought in Doc Rivers, who they thought was going to be able to make him listen, and that didn't happen either.
Well, here's the thing, okay? What's done is done. That's in the past. He's in a different uniform this season. He's in a different environment. And... see,
what he said.
Yeah. Different environment, completely different year. Ben Simmons is rested. He says he's healthy. He says he's feeling good mentally. I agreed with a lot of the things he had to say. So we'll see what happens. That's all. And we'll take it from there. I'll be the first guy to admit if I'm wrong. I will admit that I'm wrong, but I have like a lot of things I'm not going to be.
I got you. So I have one more quote here. I'm going to play this quote, and I'm going to open the door for my dog so that they don't bark. But here's another quote from the podcast.
Into a jersey.
Yeah.
Essentially. So.
Yeah. But look, when it slows down, it looks really bad, Ben.
Yeah, no, it fucking looks terrible. I was like, well, when I look at it now, I'm like, man, I should have just fucking punched that shit. But it didn't happen. And I was okay with that. I can live with that. I can live with, okay, everyone's trying to kill me over one play. Like, does everyone want to watch film with me? Like the whole arena, and I could dissect everything if you guys want. But that's not, it's not realistic.
Well, we said this at the time. I mean, it was like the whole team blew 25-point leads,
I'm I'm guarding the fucking best player on the other team the whole game. Herder had 27 points?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, honey.
So
there you go.
I'll point out one thing before anyone goes. I just thought it was funny that the last person he talked shit on indirectly was Seth Curry, who he's still currently teammates with. Because when he brought up Kevin Herter, that's who Seth Curry was guarding the whole game. I just thought that was funny that of all things to bring up, it's about the current teammate he still has, not an ex-teammate. But, Mike, I'll let you go first. Your thoughts on this one?
I mean, it's back to the original thing. Like, he's a good basketball player. He's a smart basketball player. Does he have his flaws? Absolutely. everyone has their flaws, whether it's basketball or anything else. But people, and most casual fans, most fans in general, right? I go to games, I go to football games, basketball games, baseball. Baseball's a little different, it's pretty simple. You pitch the ball, you hit the ball, right? But you hear these fans say stuff, and you just sit there and you nod your head, you just shake your head. Most people don't know what they're talking about, right? They know a few things here and there, but most people that go to games are casual fans and have no clue what they're talking about. And Ben Simmons does a lot of good things on a basketball court. Shooting obviously is not one of them, and that's what has been most of his criticism in the past. But these fans that want to, oh, why did he pass the ball? Oh, why did he do this? Oh, why did he do that? They don't know what they're talking about. And like he said, if they sat down and watched film with him, he could dissect everything and anything. And we'll see. I think we'll see a better Ben Simmons in Brooklyn. I think the problem with Ben Simmons is he was the number 1 overall pick. He was not the number 1 overall pick. He would never have received the max contract he received. He would never have the expectations that were put on him. And while he was in Philly, that's what weighed on him. He goes from being the savior of the franchise to the 3rd or 4th option in Brooklyn. And we're going to see a totally new Ben Simmons.
See, now I agree with you a little bit.
Well, it's because I'm smarter than you.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like I said about Giannis, nobody says anything about Giannis. He could shoot, like he did in the series with the Celtics. If you're cool with that, with those percentages, whatever. I mean, knock your socks off. But Ben Simmons is like, she's like some chick. She looks good. She's smart. She makes a lot of money, but she's horrible in bed. And everybody's like, well, she's pretty. She makes a lot of money, but she sucks in bed. So then she's going to be known as a girl who sucks in bed. And everybody's going to forget about the fact that she makes a ton of money and she's smart and she's pretty.
I mean, not
Thank you. That's the only analogy I had.
But I will say, so that was when he talked about he's guarding the other team's best player. I mean, yeah, that was a huge plus with Ben Simmons. That I respected Ben Simmons a lot for guarding the best player on the other team, because a lot of the number 1 or number 2 stars on a team do not guard the number 1 player on another team. The big reason why I was always a big Kawhi Leonard fan is because he guarded the best guy on the other team.
Because he gets hurt and misses a year?
I mean, so did Ben.
Yeah, but can
I'm
we
just saying,
go back to talking about Doc Rivers and his Twitter?
But I'm just saying, I completely respect the fact that he was guarding the best player on the team. When Doc had Danny Green covering Trae Young for most of Game 1, and the Sixers just got destroyed, and Trae Young put up 40 some points. Don't put old ass Danny Green out there on Trae Young. But at the same time, I can't also say that every single game that Ben covered Trae Young, that he did amazing. Trae Young still put up 35, 21, 28, 25, 39, 34, 21. 2 of those games he had a bad percentage and Ben did a good job, but the other times Trae Young still lit the Sixers up whenever he wanted. And on top of that, obviously the one thing that people always bring up is the dunk. And I agree that it is unfair to say that whole passed up dunk is the reason why, Simmons left Philly and everything like that. That one play did not lose the series. And when you go back to the post-game interviews, Joel Embiid himself talked about, not only did he talk about Ben passing up the dunk, but he talked about Matisse missing free throws, and he also talked about himself missing a game-winning layup and how he needed to be better on the court for the Sixers to win too. So it's not just that dunk that ruined everything. The dunk was just the thing that tipped the the cup of everyone's frustrations. Exactly. That was the boiling point. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Whatever fucking analogy you want to use. And the thing was, like, I've talked about this before. I was at that game, and the moment he passed up that dunk, like when he made that spin move around Gallinari, the entire crowd got up out of their seats because they thought it was going to be a Ben Simmons crazy dunk with him screaming and everything. And then he passed it to Matisse, who got fouled, missed it, and then missed a free throw. And then right there, everyone knew, all right, the game's fucking over. Because the Sixers were not able to make a stop when it counted most, whether it's Ben Simmons or anybody on the fucking team.
Bless you. That's your boy, though. Matisse should be making those shots. I blame Matisse.
I do too, Matisse.
Ben Simmons was just trying to be a good teammate, get the ball to his teammate, and look what happened. Matisse.
But there's this other thing. In that same, if you watch that interview a little bit more with JJ Redick, Ben Simmons talks about, hey, I was trying to get it to Matisse. I was like, he has athleticism, he has hops, he can get up there and get a dunk. But then also says, oh, when I spun, I was just spinning into a jersey. I didn't know it was Trae Young, and I didn't know, like, I thought Trae Young was going to be faster, and I thought this, and I thought that. And it's like, so which one is it? Because if you can't even tell that it's Trae Young, the shortest player on the court in front of you, when you're 6'10" and he's all the way down here, if you can't even tell that, then how did you know that Matisse was there behind two defenders? Because when he passed it to him, he was behind Trae Young with another defender on his hip, and then the moment he passed it, Gallinari came around from Ben and contested it as well. So there's a lot of holes in his explanation that I'm just like, dude, that
how many times is this guy going to answer about this?
But that's the thing. This is the first time he actually went into depth about it.
I mean, he didn't even need to do that. Who cares? He's not Philly anymore.
Well, because I'll say one thing. If he, during the whole thing with the Sixers, if he just came out and said, like, there was a point in the interview where he said, look, I don't care about the money that they took away. I don't care about all of that. All I cared about was my peace of mind, and I just wanted to get in the right state of mind, and so on and so forth. If he just came out and said that before Clutch Sports started saying, like, oh, well, he thinks it's Embiid's fault. Well, he thinks this. Well, he thinks that. If he just stopped letting Clutch Sports speak for him and just came out and said something, the blowback would have been so much less. Don't get me wrong. There still would have been blowback because Sixers fans are fucking nuts. Philly fans are fucking nuts. But it would have been so much less if he just came out and said those things. And at the same time, he still contradicted himself because he then sued the Sixers for money. So do you care about the money or do you not care about the money?
Well, I think we'd all care about $20 million.
But exactly. So then why say you don't care about the money? Like, come on. Just be real with it. Like, a lot of his answers just felt rehearsed. And I'm like, just be real. That's all.
I thought he sounded great. So have fun with Strip Club Boy.
Hey, he sounds amazing too.
Well, we'll see.
I know, we're going to see a lot.
There's only one way to find out.
That brings us, we'll go to Media Day before we get to Ime and then the preview here. So, NBA Media Day. We had a lot of interesting interviews in Media Day. We had from Kevin Durant to Kyrie Irving to James Harden to Embiid to, they asked a bunch of Celtics players about the new interim coach, so on and so forth. There was DeAndre Ayton talking about he hasn't even spoken to Monty Williams since the Western Conference Finals or NBA Finals or whatever. So I want to know, Dennis, we'll start with you because, you and I were talking about Media Day before this. So, what were your takeaways? What were your favorite interviews, quotes? What you got?
I was just very intrigued with the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. Obviously, I paid much closer attention to their press conferences, and I just saw two guys with two of the biggest chips on their shoulder, two guys with two attitude problems, two guys who didn't accept any responsibility for what happened, two guys that aren't accountable for their actions, two guys that don't think that they did anything wrong, two guys that they think they're completely innocent. It was disgusting. And to watch Kevin Durant up there and basically say he's not a mediator between the organization and Kyrie, that is, you want to talk about a guy like Holes? Like, that's complete bullshit, because if you, for one, don't think that KD has any say on what happens with Kyrie, and that the fact that Kyrie didn't get a contract extension, and if you don't think that didn't rub him the wrong way, I mean, you're crazy. He is absolutely 100% just as at fault for this, because he still refuses to hold his boy accountable for how he acts. He wants to talk about how he's such a big team player. He wants to talk about how he's invested in winning a title. Yeah, he's interested in winning the title, but he doesn't want to do it the hard way, which means being a leader. He doesn't want to do it by keeping Kyrie Irving in check. He doesn't want to do it by calling Kyrie and saying, hey, you need to get your ass on the floor. And the fact that Kyrie Irving sat there and said, I gave up all this money to prove a point about vaccination and all this stuff. Listen, nobody wants to hear it from you, okay? Because there were a lot of people while that was going on that couldn't work, and they wanted to work, and people lost their businesses. People were getting sick. People were losing houses. There was such a bad time. And the fact that Kyrie sat there and said he gave up, well, for one, you're worth over $100 million right now. All right. Granted, you're giving up $100 million, but you're not being impacted. He's set for the rest of his life. He's not getting impacted on the same level as other people are. So for him to sit there and act like he's a victim and all this is absolutely... if you just listen to the guy talk, he's out of his mind. Like, I don't know what he's on or what's going on with him. He's out of his mind. KD had this real blasé, laid back, dismissive attitude going. And I mean, let's not you tried to get a guy fired. All right. You tried to get two people fired. Two guys fired because you were throwing a temper tantrum because you didn't like what was going on. And then when the Nets made it hard for you because they weren't willing to just trade you away just because you wanted it, now you want to kind of walk it back a little bit and say, oh, they didn't want to give me up because I'm too good. Yes, you are good, but your attitude is horrible. You and your boy's attitude is horrible. So I was very troubled by both of them and their attitudes, and whatever happens to Kyrie after this season, I could care less. I just hope he's gone. And that'd be one out of I think Kevin Durant will be much better off without Kyrie. Hey, because he's like a bad influence. Thank you.
Mike, what do you think about that or any other NBA Media Day stuff?
I think that was a great TED Talk by Dennis. That's what I think.
Thank you.
But in regards to Kyrie, I mean, I understand his point.
You didn't watch it, did you?
No, I did. Where he said, he gave $100 million for not getting vaccinated, or 4 years, 100 and whatever.
You're like the kid. You're like the kid who said he saw a movie, but then he just saw the highlights and said he saw the movie.
I think for Kyrie, listen. If you want to get vaccinated, you get vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you don't have to get vaccinated. It's all our personal choice. And I think the city, New York City, has been trying so hard to be like woke, right? And be like super democratic and super like, anti-Republican, whatever. And that's why they pushed all those mandates, all those vax things. And he has a point. you don't want to get vaccinated, you shouldn't lose your job for it, right? And you shouldn't be forced to do it. I can understand encouraging people to get vaccinated, but like you shouldn't be forced to do something you don't want to do. People shouldn't lose their jobs for it, and he shouldn't lose the ability to play basketball. It was so stupid last year where he could attend the game, sit on the bench, but he couldn't enter the 94 feet of hardwood and play the game because of the rules.
Right.
It was ridiculous. It was a show. It was a political show. That's what it was.
The mandates made it worse than it was, because if you're not going to let the guy play, don't let him in the stadium. Don't say you can't play, but you're allowed to sit everywhere around it. Just say you're not allowed in the stadium and then leave it at that.
Can I clarify something before this gets out of hand because you know how these internet people are. So here's my thing, okay? I am not for people getting vaccinated, okay? The only reason I would be in favor of people getting vaccinated for anything is because I think people just by nature are too stupid to make decisions. So if it came down to where like it was like some flesh-eating virus that was going to turn people into zombies, of course, none of them for vaccination, because I think just people are too stupid to make their own decisions. A lot of them are. With that said, if he didn't want to get vaccinated, that's fine. However, it comes down to the fact that he didn't want to fucking play. All right, let's just call it what it is. He did not want to play. And for him to sit there and say he was doing it for this reason and that reason, you know, to try to build himself up, other than the fact that he didn't want to play, that is, he's out of his mind. He did not want anything to do with it. He didn't want to play, so he was using that as it's the same thing people use now to get out of work. Oh, I have the sniffles. I might have COVID, so I got to go home. I got to work from home. It's COVID. You know, it's the same shit. Just Kyrie's just using it at a different level. But like I said, I am not saying by any means that he was wrong for not wanting to get vaccinated. I don't think he should have been prevented from playing. I just think his attitude about his self-inflated ego about the reasons why he wasn't getting vaccinated and how he wanted to make himself come off as a martyr and the savior of people is totally, that's exactly my problem with all this.
So I will say early on in COVID, I definitely thought everyone should get vaccinated. From my point of view as somebody who is immunocompromised, it played a big part in making sure that, you know, people didn't die. There were plenty of people that died due to COVID, whether they were healthy or not. Heard stories ranging from one extreme to the other extreme. So in the beginning of COVID and before everyone had the information that they now have, I thought, yeah, go get vaccinated. Like at the end of the day, it's protecting you. There really aren't that many people, if any at all, that I've heard of that have gotten the vaccinated and have been harmed from it. Like, really, you might hear like a story here and there on the news, but out of millions and millions of people, it really wasn't anything. However,
that we're aware of, but we could turn into zombies in 10 years. We don't know that.
True. Hey, but we don't even know the effects of people who had COVID over a long period of time yet either. There's a lot of things I don't even have taste and smell for 2 years now. And that's from getting COVID way before vaccines were even a thing.
You still can't taste anything?
No.
So are you even going on like these wedding taste things? Food tasting
things? We do have a wedding tasting coming up in a couple months, but we will have both of our moms there because obviously I can't say whether it's good or not.
Can I go?
So
I'm just gonna,
we can see if they have extra tickets.
I'm gonna come fart in your face at the wedding and see if you smell it.
I probably would.
From you, of course you would. Nobody knows wedding cake better than I do. I just want you to know that.
I mean,
like I know my way around wedding
when you
desserts.
go on a tasting, you only get a slice, not the whole cake.
Yeah, but it's like courses. Like you get multiple cakes.
True, but I will say we're not big cake people, so I don't expect a huge cake.
Well, what are we thinking about dessert though? Like, what's going on?
Oh, trust me, there's gonna be a lot of dessert.
And come on, can we not have those Italian cookies that are dry and everybody fucking hates them?
No, fuck
Thank
those.
Black and
Look,
white cookies.
I'm a cookie connoisseur.
All
If
right.
there's gonna be cookies, they're gonna be good cookies.
Well, I don't know
I'm a black and white cookie guy, but I only eat the white part.
because you're racist.
No, I don't like chocolate. I don't like chocolate like that.
We heard.
I'm sticking by what we said.
Hey, I'm an equal opportunity guy. I'll eat black, I'll eat white. I don't care. You know what I mean? I give them both
Agreed.
a shot. They're both good in their own ways.
Agreed.
But here's the thing,
Same
to
way.
your point, okay, vaccinations. At first, I'm still a big advocate of vaccine. All right.
Right. Oh yeah.
I think it's
I'm a supporter
beneficial.
of vaccines in general.
All right. With that said, when the vaccines first came out, they were saying that if you were vaccinated, you had a less than 5% chance of getting COVID. However, we know that was completely far off. However, even after that information came out, they were still adamant about people getting vaccinated. So, and now we know everybody's getting COVID so do I think being vaccinated will keep you alive? Me personally, I do. If you don't agree with that, that's fine. I mean, this is America. People are supposed to be able to disagree. So the fact that they didn't let Kyrie play because of some political things is completely. But let's be honest. He wasn't losing any sleep by not playing.
Right.
All right. And he would have gotten. It would have only been a matter of time. Even if he did play, he would have gotten hurt anyways. Because that's what happens to him.
True.
But to sit up there and act like you're the savior for the unvaccinated masses, he's a fucking dweeb.
Yeah. I mean, to act like you're holier than thou because you did this thing is ridiculous. The only thing that I will say that I respect Kyrie for is just sticking to a belief. Whether it's the right or wrong belief, because, I mean, personally, I believe it's the wrong belief, but a lot of people who even have the correct beliefs won't stand by their beliefs as much as he stood by his. I will respect that little piece, but I don't agree with it.
Yeah,
I don't agree with it at all.
He believes he doesn't want to play.
True, he's stuck by that one a lot. And the
But
thing
all you
is,
say
too,
is, hold on, honey.
Go ahead.
I'm older, so I can talk. So all I gotta say is Andrew Wiggins. Fucking guy got vaccinated. Didn't want to get vaccinated. Who's the NBA champs?
And Andrew Wiggins, I mean, he looked a hell of a lot better than he's had in seasons past.
Shocking. When you get surrounded by a good coach who actually knows what he's doing, I mean, good things happen for people.
Very true. But it also just was annoying how Kyrie was just kind of like, oh, I hate that it has pushed this narrative that like I don't want to play basketball. And it's like, well,
You don't.
the guidelines of if you wanted to play were very clear. So if you wanted to play, you follow the guidelines. So like, and now I understand everyone that's like, you know, you shouldn't lose your job, you shouldn't whatever if you didn't want to get the vaccine. But as we were saying early on, we didn't know all the information, and all we knew was people were dying from it. So then it's like, all right, well, I mean, I'm not going to go tell Karl Anthony Towns that he has to go play against this guy because he's an idiot and he won't get vaccinated after half of his family died from COVID. Like, how is that fair at all? So
You can make arguments either way, all right. But here's the thing, all right. Maybe he really did have a strong belief about being vaccinated or not being vaccinated. However, his previous actions over the years and his inability to stay healthy and play through little bullshit injuries and not act like a complete clown completely eradicated all credibility that he has. So whenever he says something like this, people are going to second guess his intentions, which is why James Harden found his way out of Brooklyn, because that guy was running around on half a hamstring. And he's like, fuck this. If I'm sitting here running around like a moron and I'm injuring myself while idiots at home or at his sister's birthday party or wherever the fuck he was, I totally get it. No wonder why James Harden wanted out of there. And KD was the guy who should have been, Kyrie, I get it, but we need you. Like, this is bigger than your beliefs. So you're letting your team down.
Right. And
his came here for a reason. We came here to win a title, and you're preventing us from doing that.
Exactly. And his whole thing about like, oh, I'm not the relay between, the team and Kyrie. And it's like, well, you and him are supposed to be 1A, 1B leaders here. Like that's what you two came here to be and were brought here to be. So act like it. If that's the other guy you need to go farther in the playoffs, to go farther in the season, whatever, go grab his ass and get him on the court. Like, there's not much else to be said about that. And even Tyler here says, did you guys hear what Markieff Morris said? And Markieff Morris even said, and I quote, I agree with what he said, he being, I believe it was Kevin Durant. They were soft. Because Kevin Durant admitted the Nets lost respect around the NBA last season. They were soft, just point blank period. When we played up against them, they were soft. Just go right up in their chest, and that's what we did. Miami beat them without their best players. There was a bunch of two-way guys and guys that came up for COVID. All they did was just go in their chest, and they won. Like, so you're telling me that you admit you lost respect around the league, and you won't go up to your good friend Kyrie and be like, hey, we kind of need you.
First of all, what's up, Tyler? How are you? Secondly, all right, and I'm glad he brought up Markieff Morris, because when Kevin Durant was asked about people not wanting to play in Brooklyn because of what a circus it has turned into, he had, again, a dismissive attitude saying, well, Markieff Morris came here. It's Markieff Morris. Can you really sit there and say that we got Markieff Morris so people want to play here? And then when he was challenged on that, he didn't like it. So you want to sit there and you say your big acquisition in the offseason was Markieff Morris? That just shows me how delusional he is.
And like, Markieff Morris literally tweeted that he wanted to go to Philly. And the only reason he didn't is because the Sixers didn't have enough free agency money.
Damn PJ Tucker.
So that just shows, like, so you're happy about that you're the second choice?
Yeah, I mean, Markieff Morris can't even get a spot on the Heat over Udonis Haslem.
Exactly.
Who doesn't even play.
But then, so the Sixers media day I thought was funny. James Harden said he lost 100 pounds, obviously not being real whatsoever. Joel Embiid was asked if he worked on his game at all and how he worked on it, what he improved, and he just said, oh, I don't know. I've been sitting on my couch all summer long, and we'll see how it goes. So, I mean, I took the Sixers media day as hilarious because it seems like these guys are like genuinely friends now, like Embiid, Harden, Maxey, all these guys, because most of them like weren't serious throughout this whole thing. They didn't give the same, like, you watch the Knicks one, they ask RJ Barrett, like, what are the two words that define the Knicks this season? And he's like, hungry and grit. And it's like, every damn team says that. Like, really? You couldn't give us anything else? And then it's all the same questions and answers of all the same stuff. Julius Randle talks about how, like, oh, yeah, we're going to be better this year, and so on and so forth. And they ask about Donovan Mitchell, and they're like, oh, we don't need Donovan Mitchell, and blah, blah, blah. And then you get to, with Brooklyn, there was a lot of questions around that because obviously demanding trades and everything like that. But
Brooklyn's was like a funeral.
I know. It honestly felt, like, depressing the whole time.
Right, like I felt like I was watching my own funeral. Like it was all quiet. But you know what the Knicks remind me? Everyone's pissed. But these reporters suck too. Nobody was asking tough questions. Like, get me in there. I would have ripped them apart. I would have asked. I was yelling at the TV because I'm like, you don't ask him this. You know what I mean? Ask him that.
Dennis will be back there like, hey, Kevin, Dennis from the Atlantic Files. Why are you such a jackass?
Right.
But no,
the Knicks are grit and toughness. Of course, everybody's pumped up. That's like, you know what it reminds me of? Like, you know what? You might not know, but like Mike, like on a Sunday night, you're like, that's it. Tomorrow, new week, new attitude. I'm fucking eating chicken and brown rice, and we're hitting the gym, and we're hitting it, and then by Wednesday, you're eating pizza all over again.
Oh, I do that too, so I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, okay.
No, exactly, and that's what I mean. And so it gave me... It was strange because I've never seen a Sixers media day where it's just like, oh, like they're just joking around. Like they don't give a fuck what these reporters are asking. They're here to literally like come play basketball. They know they're going to be good, and they know that they're going to prove they're good. But like... there's no like, yeah, this year I improved this and we're going to do this. Or like, oh, I'm getting all the hate, proving all the haters wrong and all this sorts of bullshit that everybody says. It was kind of refreshing. Like, I wasn't expecting that whatsoever.
It's like, congratulations, RJ. You were the sloppy seconds. They didn't really want you, but when they couldn't get Donovan Mitchell, they signed you. Exactly. He's like the side, like when girl A doesn't work out, he's like he's not even girl B, he's like girl D. Hey, what's up, RJ? Ass is looking good. What you up to tonight? You know what I mean? And like, you want to come over? And I'm saying like me talking to a woman, not to RJ.
Yeah. Right,
I'm talking my younger days before Mrs. Big Sexy, but I'm saying like that was like that's what it was like. RJ should be sitting up there and going, "Hey, the Knicks signed me. They fucking went, no, you were sloppy seconds, dude."
Exactly. Like I don't know. There was with the Knicks and a lot of the other teams, I was just kind of bored with a lot of their media day, but like it was nice to kind of see the Sixers not have to. Like, I mean, the last offseason, obviously, it was the whole Ben Simmons drama. Then the offseason before that, it was about Colangelo's fucking Twitter burner accounts and bullshit like that. And Brett Brown's last season and blah, 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 blah. And it was like, this time it was just kind of like...
Before he went and ate clam chowder.
Exactly. Now he's back on the Spurs bench.
Can you picture... I could picture, like, Jim Dolan, right? Calling up and like twirling the phone cord and going, "Hey Donovan, you want to come over tonight?" Oh no, you stop. No, you. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, you got plans? Oh, you're washing your hair. Okay. He's like, fuck. And he picks up the phone. Hey, RJ, what are you doing? You're looking good today. You want to come over? Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I know I said I was busy previously, but my schedule opened up.
Yeah, my aunt, she didn't die. She's alive.
Oh, God.
Mike, are you okay down there, honey? No?
Guess not.
You guys are just ridiculous.
But yeah, media day was a little ridiculous. We can even stretch this out into another episode, but we at least needed to talk about those. So
RJ, you got a date for the prom?
Ime Udoka. So unfortunate that it had to be him. My coach of the year pick last year, instead of being coach of the year, gets suspended for a year. I just want to say the whole reporting surrounding this whole thing was very just premature and weird. For those who don't know, obviously, Ime Udoka has been suspended all of next season for a relationship with a female staffer. He was engaged. I don't know if they're married just yet, but he was engaged with a kid to actress Nia Long. I think she's an actress, right?
Who?
Nia Long. But, yeah, so...
What kind of actress?
Regular movie actress, I think.
The name like that.
Oh God. Anyway, so yeah, at first Woj and Shams and everybody were saying he was going to be suspended, and they kept saying it was a like a mutual relationship. Like everyone was agreeing to it, everything, like there was nothing else to say. But it was just a female staffer, so just the fact that it was within the workplace, they're going to suspend him for a season, which felt very weird, because if it's consensual and everything, why would the suspension be an entire year?
Well, there's obviously more to the story.
Exactly. So then it came out that he was making unwanted comments and unwanted advances. And then apparently there's been more rumors. This allegedly,
Right.
from you, allegedly.
Thank you.
The female staffer that he was talking to was one that would actually book travel plans and everything. And she also booked travel plans for his fiance to move to Boston. And this whole thing happened like a month or so after they moved to Boston. And so, yeah, now they're kind of picking up the pieces. He's still suspended for the year. He talked about maybe just quitting altogether, but apparently retracted that. So, your thoughts? Will Boston recover?
He wants to get paid.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think... Do you get paid when you're suspended? I don't think he gets paid for the whole year,
right? No, but you get paid
right?
if you're fired.
Well, that too, but...
Well, I told you. Was I not saying how good he looks in the sweater?
You did. You did say
He's a good-looking guy. I'll give him that. Here's my whole...
He's a good-looking guy. It's true.
He is a good-looking dude. And I hope the Celtics fire him and then, Brooklyn. Anyways, yeah, he's a scumbag. He should get fired and then go to Brooklyn. Anyways, here's my thing, okay? I have it's very disturbing to me, and I completely agree 100%, and I think Brad Stevens said it, that I thought it was very unfair how people were just picking random women within the Celtics organization and then just putting them out there.
Agreed.
It was all speculative. Like, they didn't have any... There was no concrete evidence that the woman you were posting is who the woman in question is. Like, that's the internet is at its worst. Like, the internet is great because you can look up dinosaur facts and how deep is the ocean, and then you got this garbage going on. So I was deeply troubled by that. And dinosaur facts are important. So
I agree.
You can look up dinosaur facts. How deep is the ocean?
I mean, you can look both of those up.
So, but the fact that they put these women out there is completely unfair and it's totally unacceptable. With that said, there were reports, and I don't even know how much is true out of any of this, because nobody really knows, all right? But apparently, allegedly, there was the fact that she was a subordinate of his, and because she was a subordinate, she couldn't consent because you're a subordinate. So even if she did consent, from all the rules and technicality, you can't consent because you know what I mean. So maybe it was a consensual thing. He's a fucking great looking dude. He's has a ton of money, looks good in a sweater.
Already one of the top coaches in the league.
Top coach, very powerful. You know, one of the head coach of one of the most storied franchises in all of sports. All right. You don't think chicks are going to want that? Of course they are. So, but with that said, if it turned into the point where it was unwanted, and then he's a creep. But there's so much in this story, though, that doesn't make sense and then makes sense at the same time. But right. I honestly don't think that... I would be surprised if he came back, to be honest with you.
I would be too. I think that would be weird to be suspended an entire year through all of this and just kind of lose the respect of a lot of people, including his own fiance. And I mean, I guess his child can't lose respect for him because his child's not that old. But
how's his kid?
They just had.
I don't really care that much. But how old is he?
Ime is 45.
That's it.
Yeah, not that old.
But here's the thing, though, like...
Oh, his kid's 10, so maybe he does lose the respect of his kid.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like... If this thing dies down, there's a chance he may come back. But if more things surface, which is a good chance there may, because you know how these things work out...
There's already that footage from the Ring doorbell or whatever. Like, that's how they figured it out in the first place.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the actual footage of it, but I kept reading that there's footage of him, like, going to this girl's house on their Ring doorbell. And apparently, I don't know if it was, like, the girl had a boyfriend or a husband, too. So, like, the husband or boyfriend, I think, sent the Ring footage to the Celtics or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in there that seems very... circumstancy, and I don't really know all the facts behind it, but yeah.
That'd be great. He shows up, Ime's pants are down his ankles, and he goes, "Hey, Ime, he's in my house. Hey, Ime, what are you doing here?" His wife comes out, she's like wiping her mouth. "Hey, I didn't expect you to be home."
Before Ime leaves, he's like, "Hey, wait, are you starting Marcus Smart today? He's on my fantasy team."
Yeah, Ime. 38 for Marcus Smart. Let's get it done. And I meant she's wiping her mouth because she just ate something. Like they had a dinner.
Yeah, they just had a spaghetti dinner.
Right. You know, sauce gets messy. Mario, your uncle Mario was making sauce. Fucking John and Mario. Fucking John. Hey, I'm Mario. Hi, I'm Concetta. I'm Nicoletta. Hey, I'm John. Oh.
Mike, your thoughts on Ime?
Like, it is such a weird story. It's kind of what you guys were saying. Like, it's at first it sounds just like, oh, like two coworkers, hooked up, right? But like. Clearly, there's more to the story that we don't know. I don't know if we'll ever find out. But, like, I also, with all details that we kind of know right now, I feel like a year is a little much. I think maybe, like, 25 games would have been fine. Because, like, people keep saying on Twitter, if Miles Bridges comes back this year and plays, but Ime Udoka got suspended for a year, it's like, what the hell are we doing here?
True. That would be ridiculous.
I just don't know if he deserves a year for whatever happened. Like, then again, I don't know. We don't really know the full story yet. But I think it's given the details, it's a little harsh.
Yeah, but with the fact though, the only argument I could have with the Miles Bridges Ime thing is that Ime's a coach. He's in a high ranking position. He has a lot of people that are accountable for his actions.
True.
No, I get it.
I mean, yeah.
I don't agree with it.
No, I don't either. I'm just saying.
Especially like when it comes to Ime, it essentially comes to like the whole Me Too movement, where it's like all those bosses and upper level people that coerced women and other people into doing stuff for them, and holding that over their head of like, hey, if you don't, I'm gonna fire you. Like, even if he didn't say that, that still is something that could be used against them. If that's the case. I'm just saying, if that's the case, that's disgusting.
Ime doesn't need to coerce anything. He's a good-looking dude.
No, but I'm just saying that kind of thing is still always going to be present on someone's mind in that case, too. Tyler said Dennis is out of pocket.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
It means you're crazy.
Yeah. Tyler.
But yeah, the whole thing.
Tyler, we're gonna censor this so when your bus driver listens to this on the bus tomorrow.
Actually, matter of fact, just show it to your bus driver. That would be great.
Yeah, what the
play
hell?
it for all the kids. Yeah, no, the whole story.
Idea.
There's definitely a lot of stuff to this story that hasn't come out yet, and once it does, because it almost always does. Once it does, I think the year suspension will make a lot more sense. Richard Jefferson was tweeting and alluding to the fact that he knew there was more information that wasn't released yet. So, like, if Richard Jefferson knows, I don't know how he would know.
I feel like he knows everything, though.
He's walking.
He is, and I mean that's why if he's tweeting that kind of thing, I feel like there's probably a good bit more to this story that people haven't heard yet.
He was a little starstruck when he met Big Sexy.
I could see that in the picture, definitely.
He was tall. He's not a lot of girth on him. And I mean girth like width.
Right. we gotta get RJ on the pod.
We're friends. I got pics to prove it.
Yeah. We gotta ask him if he remembers you.
Oh, of course he does. You're not gonna remember a fucking fat guy carrying around a pretzel sweating? Of course you're gonna remember that.
All right, so our final prepared topic before the What You Got, we have the Southwest Division preview. So this is pretty much the Texas division, because obviously all the damn Texas teams are in it. We got Luka in here. We got, some tanking teams in terms of Houston and San Antonio. New Orleans, we don't know what the hell they're going to look like, because we don't know if Zion is going to actually be on the court, if he's going to be sitting on the bench, if he's going to be hurt all the time. Last season, it finished with Memphis in first, then Dallas, New Orleans, San Antonio, Houston. Houston only winning 20 games at the time. But what are your guys' thoughts on the Southwest? Mike, I'll let you go first.
5th, San Antonio. 4th, Houston. 3rd, I'm going to go New Orleans. 2nd, I'm going to go Memphis Grizzlies. And 1st, I'm going to go Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. I think if Jaren Jackson Jr. was healthier and able to stay healthy for a full season, then I would have flipped the number 1 and 2 teams. But I think the 2 teams that are really the top 3 teams in this division are all really talented. I think Zion, it looks like he's in fabulous shape. I think Zion looks healthy again, and they could. New Orleans could make a big run in this division. Luka's the best player in the league, at least from a talent standpoint. He's better than Giannis in terms of pure talent, but Giannis has more size. I think it's one of the better divisions in basketball right now. But I think when it's all said and done, Jason Kidd, Mark Cuban, Luka Doncic, and that team down there in Dallas will be another favorite to make a run to the conference finals and possibly get through the Nuggets and get to the NBA championship. But we'll have to see what happens.
Do you believe Jason Kidd's quote when he said Christian Wood would be 6th man and JaVale McGee would start?
I could see that because JaVale McGee gives him more size as a traditional center. Also, JaVale McGee has a better chance of winning the opening tip, so he might start every game just to win the opening tip.
Okay.
Yeah, and then here's the thing: like when he says JaVale McGee's going to start, okay, JaVale McGee's going to be out there for 6 minutes to start the game, and then Christian Wood's coming in.
Right.
Because I mean, no way in hell JaVale McGee's going to. He doesn't play a ton of minutes. He didn't play a ton of minutes in Phoenix. He didn't play a ton of minutes in LA. He didn't play a ton of minutes, wherever the fuck else I can't think of. But so.
I mean,
But I agree with
Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, he's been everywhere.
Christian Wood. JaVale McGee played Golden State, Washington,
Denver.
Phoenix.
He's been around.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna. I agree. I agree with Mike with San Antonio, Houston.
You sounded so disgusted.
Yeah, I couldn't believe I said that. San Antonio, Houston, and this is from last to first. San Antonio, Houston, New Orleans, and I'm not sold on Memphis and Dallas yet. Memphis to me has a lot of question marks surrounding them. They lost Kyle Anderson and DeAnthony Melton. They didn't really replace him. They replaced him with a bunch of rookies. They did bring back John Morant on a 5-year contract. They got Tyus Jones back. I mean, we're looking at a team that possibly could be NBA champs right now. I mean, they lost to the Warriors, but we also have to remember that, John Morant didn't play for half the series. So with that said, it's going to be a lot of things. Brandon Clark needs to play well while Jaren Jackson's out. Jaren Jackson needs to come back and he needs to be healthy. John Morant needs to play healthy because John Morant hasn't played more than 67 games in any of his 3 seasons since he's been in the league. So he definitely needs to step up. Fortunately, Memphis does have the best backup point guard in the league. I've always said it, and I'll continue to say it. A guy who could easily be starting anywhere else and would be contributing at a much greater level than he does in Memphis. I'm talking Tyus Jones. And it's all going to come down to whether Desmond Bane's going to be consistent because in the postseason he averaged 23 points, and then without in the series against Golden State, I mean, yeah, he shot like 48% from 3 in that series, but he only averaged 14 points. So he needs to be consistent. If Desmond Bane could step up, if John Morant could stay healthy, and the Grizzlies have a shot to go deep, even with the losses of Kyle Anderson and DeAnthony Melton. Danny Green, who knows what the hell is going to happen with him? Who knows if he's playing this season? Who knows if he's coming back? But the team they have now is just going to be just fine. San Antonio, we don't really need to cover them. We already know what's going on there. They're rebuilding. They're going to suck. And Keldon Johnson's going to, be an all-star consideration to some degree. Rockets, same thing. Rockets are going to be better. They're still a young team. Made a lot of moves in the draft. Got back Jayshawn Tate, 3 years, $20 million. They lost Christian Wood, Dennis Schroeder. But yeah, other than that, the Pelicans, like Mike said, Zion looks great. He looks in fantastic shape. They have C.J. McCollum. They added some things through the draft. They have Valanciunas, who's a capable center, not very good, not a very mobile center. Good on the offensive end, not really great on defensive end. Brandon Ingram is good. So the Pelicans are in a good place right now, and they're in a position to maybe add a little bit more. So if the Pelicans can add a little bit more, and C.J. McCollum can, I think C.J. McCollum's going to be an all-star this year. I think he's going to be fantastic. I think this is going to be his best season yet. And the Mavs is going to be, can Luka stay healthy? Luka's another guy who, he he gets out of shape at times. He gets chubby. But I mean, over the summer, apparently he got in a good shape. He's been active playing in Europe over the summer. So we'll see how it all turns out. I mean, is the extra playing over the summer going to impact him in a detrimental way, or is it going to keep him in shape and So hopefully he doesn't get fat, but Luka's an MVP caliber player. He's arguably the best player in the league. I would like for him to step up and be consistent, stay healthy, be more of a leader, shut up, don't argue with officials as much, so but yeah, the Rockets lost Brunson, but with that said, they have Dinwiddie, who everybody should know my feelings on Dinwiddie at this point. Dinwiddie's a fantastic player. He's an all-star caliber player. He's very underappreciated. And Christian Wood gets banged up a lot, but if he could stay healthy, he'll add, the Mavericks added a lot, especially underneath the basket. Maxi Kleber's coming back. They added JaVale McGee. They have Christian Wood. So Kleber's a good 3-point threat. I mean, he can get hot. So, yeah, the Mavericks could. Finney Smith is a player who could play a bunch of positions. Hardaway, he's Tim Hardaway Jr. So, yeah, I mean, the Mavericks could do a little something. It's just these guys got to stay healthy. Actually, Luka has to stay healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, then it's not going to be good. Same with Memphis. If John Morant can't stay healthy because he's always banged up, then it's going to be a problem. Thank you.
I agree with a lot of that. My standings, though, I have a little bit differently. So 5, I also have San Antonio. 4, I have Houston, just like both of you. I think that one's pretty cut and dry, especially with San Antonio getting rid of DeJounte Murray and, I mean, really not getting a whole lot in return. So everyone knows they're tanking for Victor Wembanyama. But for the top 3, I have in 3rd, I think I'm going to have the Mavericks. In 2nd, the Pelicans. And in 1st, the Grizzlies. And that's not to say the Mavericks are going to, take a nosedive and be, 500 or under 500 or anything. I think that Dallas got worse. I mean, they lost Jalen Brunson, who was a big part of their offense when Doncic was either on the floor or off the floor, and the only person they really brought in was Christian Wood. The rest of it, I mean, they brought in JaVale McGee and everything, but okay, he'll help here and there. They still have Powell and Dorian Finney. Reggie Bullock is still there. Josh Green is a guy that they brought in hoping he was going to give something. I haven't seen anything from him since. Hopefully he turns into something, but I don't foresee anything. Tim Hardaway Jr. will come back at some point. I don't know what his health is like, but at this point, I don't think he even knows what his health is like. And then you got Dinwiddie and Ntilikina, and we all know Frank's not coming in and giving you the same kind of offensive output that Brunson is going to give you. Dinwiddie is going to be a good player, as he always is. But all in all, I don't think Dallas got better or even stayed the same. I think they got a little worse.
Ntilikina is the only guy I know who was on the injury report for 2 months with a sore throat.
I didn't even know that.
Every time I look at the injury report, he's not playing, sore throat.
The hell's this guy doing? But yeah, I like I said, I think they got a little worse. And last year, so Dallas finished 52-30. I could see them finishing with 49 wins. The top of the Northwest Division last year was Utah with 49 wins. I could see them with 49 wins and New Orleans being the one with 52, 51 wins and Memphis still being on the top and having 3 of those teams make the playoffs, just some of the other divisions had before. But yeah, I think Luka is still, far and away one of the best players in the league, but the rest of the team is nothing to write home about, really. And also, I love Christian Wood, but he's pretty he's pretty street close. Christian Wood has missed a lot of time due to injury. He can barely even stay on the floor. So at that point, your center rotation is just between Powell and JaVale McGee. I mean, there's no offense coming from that duo. And then the rest of the team is exactly the same, minus Brunson. And Brunson was giving you way more offense than anyone else on that team was giving you and probably will give you. So they didn't even upgrade like their shooters or anything. Like they didn't get any other 3-and-D guys to put around Luka to have wide open because Luka's going to draw so much attention and he's a good passer. Like there really was no improvement to this roster, and that's why I see them dropping a little bit and seeing New Orleans take a leap because now you got Zion back. I mean, not having Zion was a pretty gaping hole, and they still played pretty well in the second part of the season after making that trade for CJ McCollum because, I mean, the moment CJ joined the team, CJ was having a hell of a time in New Orleans. He was playing great, and in the last season that Zion played, he was an all-star. He had 27 points, 7 rebounds, almost 4 assists a game, shooting 61% from the floor. Like, having that back now to go with CJ and Ingram and Valanciunas, and even, I mean, now they have a bunch of guys that got some growth from last season. Like, you have Trey Murphy, who's getting better. You have Herb Jones, who's getting better. And, I mean, also on the bench, we saw Jose Alvarado play actually pretty damn well, even in the playoffs.
That little sneaky Jose Alvarado.
He was pissing Chris Paul off. And then Devontae Graham, if he ever gets his skill back from the Monstars, I mean, he's a great bench piece. But, I mean, we saw him disappear after leaving Charlotte. But, again, he's a guy that could find it again. Like, this team has some decent pieces, and behind Valanciunas and stuff, they still have Jackson Hayes, who's a good defensive player. They have Willie Hernangomez. They have Larry Nance Jr., who last year was plagued with a lot of injuries. But, I mean, hey, if he gets back to healthy again, Larry Nance Jr. is a good contributing player. So they got a lot of pieces that I could see that vaulting them into second, especially if everyone stays healthy. But I still have to say, like, Memphis is going to be the better team in this division because, I mean, there's no denying how good they are, especially if Jaren Jackson Jr. gets healthier. And then, I mean, Desmond Bane is going to get even better. Ja Morant is very, very good. Tyus Jones is a great backup, which they're going to need in the inevitable situation of Ja Morant just going way too hard and getting injured. And they just have a lot of pieces to that team that I don't see them coming in anything but first for this division. So,
okay.
Well, yeah.
I don't fully agree with you, but it is you're entitled to your own opinion, although it might be wrong.
This is America. You could have your opinion.
So I think that brings us to what you got.
We shall see. Yes, we are now at what you got. So, Mike, if you want to go first, go for it.
Did you guys see the story with Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen?
Oh, God. They went out to, like, dinner or something?
She was seen, like, grinding on him at, like, a concert or something.
I mean, Scotty's he grinded on MJ before. I don't see what the big deal is.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like a well-known thing that she'll sleep with like anyone in the league. However, I did see, it's really funny to me that someone said Marcus Jordan with Larsa Pippen is almost like sleeping with your auntie. Since Scotty and Michael were such like good friends back in the day that like it's like when you're really good friends with someone and your kid calls them like aunt or uncle because you're that good of friends. That part, when I saw that, I was laughing, and it's also kind of creepy, but at the same time it's like, I mean, it is what it is. Get what you get.
You think when you have kids I'll be Uncle Big Sexy?
No.
You can if you want.
That's that. I mean, we were talking about stepmom stuff last week, so I mean that's kind of like
step aunt.
Yeah, she's like, ooh, Marcus. After James Dolan hangs up the phone, they go to the next scene, and it's, oh, Marcus, you're such a big boy now. The next thing you know, he's slinging Scotty's ex. Shit stomping her.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, the story in general, I was just kind of like, all right, so I'm pretty sure she's been with, like, double-digit NBA players at this point, let alone Marcus Jordan, but yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
Good for him. You know, Magic Johnson's son's not going to bang her.
That's true. That's true. That's one that'll never be on the board, so.
He might try to bang Marcus Jordan, but
I guess never say never.
that's true, but it's highly doubtful.
True. Dennis, what you got?
We were discussing the viral video with Kobe in the Olympics.
Oh yeah, the Redeem Team thing.
I want to know if anybody's view changed on Kobe after hearing other people talk about him and watching him plow through Gasol.
No, we always knew he was an absolute psychopath on the court.
That made me miss Kobe so much more because I was like, holy shit, this guy's a badass.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but Mike, you're the one who always says he's overrated.
He's overrated, but he's still a psychopath when it comes to trying to win a basketball game.
That didn't make you second guess him being overrated at all?
It doesn't change his actual skill.
The fact that his skill is still some of the best skill of all time?
I'm not saying he's not one of the best of all time. He's just not a top 10 player of all time.
Wait, but you said... Hold on. We have the video to prove this, too. You put Tracy McGrady...
Yeah, in terms of
in
talent,
the top
Tracy
10.
McGrady is more talented. Even Kobe said that. Kobe said, and I quote, Tracy McGrady can do everything that I can do, but he's 6'8".
Okay, but...
Tracy McGrady can't win.
Exactly. And Tracy McGrady can't play defense. Kobe is a really good defender.
I thought that might have been I thought that video might have swayed a bit, but apparently it wasn't as effective. I got so jacked up watching that.
I wanted to go run through Pau Gasol.
Mm-hmm.
Like, watching that video, I immediately got hype, and I was like, I'm ready to hit the gym.
I didn't go that far. I think I just went and, we would get these bunt cakes.
Tracy McGrady.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Tracy McGrady. Hold on.
Okay, while you're doing that, we would get these bunt cakes.
Bunt?
Mm-hmm.
And one was filled with, like, raspberry, and one was with, like, lemon. Toe curlers.
Tracy McGrady can't play defense, yet he consistently had a better defensive rating than Kobe Bryant.
All right, what were the defensive ratings?
It was like 103 to 105.
Whose was lower?
McGrady.
Are
you sure about that?
Yes.
Dumbass. And then there was this angel food or devil's. What's the red one? Devil's cake.
Devil's food cake.
Devil
Dog?
Red velvet. Devil. I've never been a fan of devil dogs.
I don't even know what that is.
But they had red
Always
velvet
find a way to talk
bunch
about
cake.
food.
And I was crushing too that they came out with. My wife bought me a box of it. It was the pumpkin, like the Little Debbie. They're like pumpkin Swiss cake rolls, kind of. Those fuckers are really, they pack a punch.
Those things are
And
good.
You are the weirdest human being I've ever met.
Those things are good.
They are good. Little Debbie really has her shit together.
And I just want to say Tracy McGrady's
So
defensive
sexy.
rating was 104. And
What was
Kobe's was
Kobe's?
105.
I want to marry Little Debbie.
So I still
And Kobe's offensive rating was 110 and Tracy McGrady's was 108.
So they're the same player.
So Kobe's better.
Yeah, I mean, a couple,
By
1,
a
2,
point.
5 championships.
Exactly. MVPs.
And then they make these Halloween brownies that are like a pumpkin.
All right. I actually have two what you gots, but they're small.
Mary
wait,
Kill.
no.
Larissa Pippen.
It's Larsa,
Mike's.
not Larissa.
Larsa Pippen. Ime's mistress. Or who's another one? Who can we add to this?
Ime's ex-fiance.
Yeah. All right. How about just, F, Mary, Kill? We'll throw Jeannie Buss back in there. Larsa Pippen,
Always goes back to Jeannie Buss.
Jeannie Buss, and the mistress. Your thoughts.
Mike,
go ahead.
go.
Mike, go.
Larsa Pippen.
For which one?
Larsa Pippen. Jeannie Buss would be the last one. I forgot who the middle one was.
Wait, it's not Kill. It's Ghost.
Yeah, it's Ghost. 'Cause
Who's the other one?
Ime's mistress.
All right. Larsa, Ime, Jeannie.
So you're gonna F Larsa,
Larsa.
marry
the
Ime's mistress,
Yeah.
and Ghost Jeannie Buss.
Yeah. No, never mind. I'm gonna marry Jeannie Buss because she has all the money.
There's the Jew in him.
Now you're Jewish showing.
See, last week he brought up an F marry Ghost, and I said marry Jeannie Buss because she had a lot of money.
There we go.
And I said I'd marry her because she's like 60 and she's a smoky still.
Dennis, is your
As
wife in
you-
the background?
As you
No.
can see, we were both thinking about the money.
Well, no, I mean I want to go to the games.
Oh yeah. But anyway, so my first one is, who do you think attempts and makes more threes this season? Matisse Thybulle or Ben Simmons?
Bible.
Did you even ask what the questions yet?
I just did.
What was it? I was thinking about Jeannie Buss.
Jeannie Buss or the pumpkin roll for Little Debbie's?
I was thinking it was all. It's an hour and 40 minutes. What are we doing here?
I know.
What was the question?
Who's going to attempt and make more threes, Matisse Thybulle or Ben Simmons this season?
Oh, Matisse.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering if you guys would pick Ben Simmons because he's been talking about shooting threes. And everything.
Don't.
I'm just asking.
You know what
I'm
you're
just asking.
doing. You know what you're doing. Don't.
I'm just asking.
Don't do it.
And my other thing is, because a couple people brought this up in Media Day, it's very loosely basketball related. Are you a fan of pumpkin flavored products or not? And why? I know it's a yes for you.
Well, here's the thing with pumpkins, right?
Pumpkin pie is the only thing I like.
I mean, pumpkin pie is good.
I get so pissed because it's like July 6th and everybody's like, well, pumpkin's back. And I'm like,
They definitely started way too early.
can we have summer? And then I adamantly, I'm refusing to do anything pumpkin. And then the next thing you know, I'm driving into Dunkin' and I'm getting, and you know what I've been getting a lot lately is this pumpkin cold foam from Dunkin'.
Okay.
And that with the pumpkin rolls and the pumpkin, they don't taste like pumpkin, but they're shaped like a pumpkin. Those brownies, they're like cosmic brownies, been crushing those. And what else? Pumpkin. I like pumpkin pie. There's some things though that they shouldn't make in pumpkin. Like pumpkin doesn't work for everything.
I don't like pumpkin ice cream.
No, I don't want pumpkin yogurt. I don't want pumpkin ice cream. I don't want pumpkin. They made like pumpkin frosted flakes. I don't want that either.
Yeah, no. And I'm a big pumpkin guy. Like I'm a pumpkin hoe. I love me some good pumpkin flavored stuff. But I agree with the fact that they started way too early. There's no reason it should be anywhere in stores in July or August.
True story. Mike got caught cutting a mouth in a pumpkin.
He didn't deny it.
No, he didn't.
But anyway,
And and pumpkins are so annoying too because you want to carve carving pumpkins is my least favorite thing to do because
that's the worst.
It's the fucking worst.
I agree, complete worst. But before we leave, I just want to say Tyler said this towards the beginning of the episode. Actually, before we started recording, he said it in the chat. He said, "Congrats on 200 subs." So thank you, Tyler, and thank you everybody that has subscribed, that has watched, that has commented, that has liked everything. We really, really appreciate it. All we ask is share it with a friend and have them subscribe because it helps get this growing even more. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. And that is it for us this week. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. We'll catch you guys next week.